G'day patrons, happy Friday. I hope you're all well and staying safe in these challenging times. There's been a lot happening, so this is going to be like basically a normal news episode. About 3 or 4 just for you guys and about 3 for public. So a longer show, apologies, but yeah, lots to say, so let's get straight into it, okay? Now, tell me, what do you see here? A Land Rover Series 2A? You're half correct, but more precisely, and you know the sort of show that I do, is actually an electrified Land Rover by Everati, featuring like a 60 kilowatt hour battery, 111 kilowatts of power, 300 newton meters of torque, and 200 kilometers of range. It looks mighty impressive, doesn't it? Beautiful. Unfortunately for us Aussies, this is actually an English company, so perhaps the story isn't this, but instead this. This is Jaunt's take on an electric Land Rover. They're a Melbourne startup company who were featured on the Drive's website last year. These guys are ripping out the internal combustion engine bits and turning them into silent battery electric vehicles, and importantly, not filling the air with dirty diesel fumes, NOx and carbon, which, as you know, isn't good for us. I love that companies like these are converting old Land Rovers into like funmobiles that are guilt-free and most likely way more fun to drive than the old petroleum versions. Do you remember the Audi grandsphere concept, which I talked about a few weeks ago? Well, by the time you see this video, Friday morning, Audi would have already unveiled its electric-powered luxury limousine just a few hours ago. Well, like 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time ago. So I'll put the link down below and you can go check it out yourself, obviously, and I'll most likely talk more to this on Saturday for the public show that will be on Monday. Yeah, that makes sense. Here's some exciting news, but nothing concrete, so just Patreon only at the moment. Hyundai Australia has reached out to its Ioniq 5 pre-order holders, indicating the upcoming EV will be priced between $70,000 to $80,000. Ouch. Hyundai, mate, do better. For an EV with similar range to Tesla's Model 3 Standard Range Plus, albeit in dual motor configuration, they're going to have to do a lot better on that price. Sure, the long-range variant is actually pretty damn close to this Tesla Model 3 long-range price as well, but I don't know. To me, if it was my money, I'd be going Tesla. But perhaps to other people, they actually like the idea of vehicle to load and want to take this thing out camping and, just have fun times with that. Each to their own, everyone's got their own choices for cars, but yeah, let's just wait to see something official from the Hyundai before I probably get this out into the bigger wide world. And finally, why is this a thing? Audi announced earlier this week that production of the final new internal combustion engine model will start in 4 years and cease by 2033. Yay. 2030 and 2035 are truly turning out to be key dates for ICE car bans and therefore legacy car makers, right? And on that note, I watched a very interesting video today by Auto Trader. They're like a UK YouTube channel, and they cover cars, obviously. And petrolhead Rory, who has a bit of a soft spot for EVs, he's quite fair in his appraisals of cars. He actually talks about why an ICE car ban is both a good thing, but also suggests an alternative model to it. It's actually quite a good summary and gives some new perspective that maybe you or I definitely hadn't thought of before. So links are below, go check them out. Alright guys, this is now public, here we go. I guess this was bound to happen if it wasn't already. Soon there'll be a street legal, zero-octane, hyper-wing pocket rocket hitting our streets. Meet the CUPRA UrbanRebel concept car, with a spoiler so big that even Vin Diesel would gush with giddy joy. Featuring 320 kilowatts of peak power, 0 to 100 km per hour in 3.2 seconds, CUPRA plans on bringing out this small car in 2025. It kind of reminds me of a bit of a Peugeot 208 meets Ford Fiesta with its athletic proportions, sharp angular lines and mouse-like overall structure. What do you think of it? I guess the car modders and hoons will be busting to get their hands on this. However, the CUPRA UrbanRebel concept will be unveiled in full during the IAA Munich International Motor Show, an expected release date at 2025 or around when perhaps the Tesla Roadster gets released in Australia. Yeah, that was almost 4 years ago when they unveiled this beautiful thing, and as per Elon's tweet, will hopefully hit America in 2023. So maybe in Australia 2025, 2026, who knows. Last week I barely spoke about South Australia's ramblings around electric vehicles and the Victorian-like distance charge. So let's take a deeper dive today and unpack what we know. The South Australian Government's proposed electric vehicle strategy emulates perhaps the best aspects of New South Wales and Victorian incentives with a $3,000 rebate for the first 6,000 vehicles. Gosh, that wouldn't last very long in New South Wales or Victoria, but 3K is 3K, right? Importantly, they're going to delay the Victorian light distance tax until July 2027 or until EVs reach 30% of new motor vehicle sales in South Australia, whichever is first. Don't get me started on how wrong that aspect of this tax is. Needless to say, it's very much at the forefront of my mind as I drive my EV everywhere, and knowing that I pay for roads with my taxes and do so without emitting any fumes, noise, actually improve the world in which we live in. Just go check out the video up here. I need to stop saying about that, but I'm thinking about it. From the South Australian Government's own paper on the matter, they detailed in December last year that they've committed to spend more than $36 million to encourage people into EVs through increased rapid chargers, shifting government sectors to electric forms of transport, encouraging doing some programs around getting fleet buyers on board, and a few more things. But as Brodie Schmidt from The Driven points out, with 60,000 cars sold in South Australia in 2020, the incentive of $3,000 for the first 6,000 lucky buyers would only account for around 10% of purchases if they're all claimed within the time frame that this is available. My 2 cents, this incentive is good but too small in scale. Just 6,000 one-off purchases incentive represents just 0.4% of the 1.48 million vehicles registered in South Australia. It's a tiny fraction of what we need to do to clean our air and decarbonise our transport sector. That and the threat of that road distance charge by 2027 or 30%, whatever happens first. The majority of buyers are already turned off by the idea of this. So whilst you've got this carried out here, trying to incentivise someone into what are quite expensive cars right now because of all the different taxes we pay on cars, it's not going to convince people to make the jump to hopefully decarbonise our world. I really want to celebrate this announcement, but I feel that I can't because it just seems like a bit of a token effort, just to appease someone somewhere. Like this. Hey, quick, we need to do something around an EV strategy and projects. We promised it back in December, we've done nothing. What have you done? Let's just copy New South Wales. How many? No, just 6,000, that will do. And finally, check out Hyundai Emotional's next generation robotaxi. Based on the all-electric Hyundai IONIQ 5, this car can safely operate without a driver, meaning that it's working at level 4 autonomy. On the exterior, the souped-up Ioniq 5 has more than 30 sensors such as cameras, radar and LiDAR, all working together to provide a 360-degree view for short and ultra-long range. Motional say that there are safety redundancies across every function like navigation, steering, braking and power for a safe and smooth ride every time. And if need be, they'll be able to actually remotely pilot the Ioniq 5 should they encounter an unusual road situation. I find it really interesting how car makers like Hyundai are teaming up with companies like Motional compared to say Tesla, who are doing everything in-house. A thing that I didn't know was that Motional was the first fully autonomous company to conduct a cross-country drive in the United States. They also have launched the world's first robotaxi pilot and operation of the world's most established public robotaxi fleet, conducting more than 100,000 public rides. Seriously, I didn't know about these guys. Waymo? Yeah. Motional? Nah. Okay. Perhaps they'll be the next big name, and so more detail will be known when they do a bit more unveiling at the IAA Mobility in Munich, September 7 to 12. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you have, please do consider giving me a subscribe. It's absolutely free. Smash that like button, leave me a comment, and share it on your socials. If you want to support the channel at the next level from as little as $2.50 per month, join me over here on Patreon, where you get early access to news, polls, behind the scenes, and a lot more. And as per usual, please be good and be green.